Welcome back everybody for a review of the Razer Viper Ultimate in the Quartz colorway. My understanding is that Razer actually did release newly revised optical switches in their new batches of black Razer Viper Ultimates, and that the Quartz and Mercury colorways do have the newly revamped switches. Out of the box, the coating and rubber sides do feel exactly the same as the black edition. The left click, right click, and scroll wheel all feel vastly improved as far as the switches are concerned. On the left and right click feels much better than the first batch of the black Razer Viper Ultimates. The charging station does come in the Quartz colorway as well, and if you haven't seen it before, it's extremely nice and just so easy to charge. You just plop the mouse on it and it's fantastic. The optical switches do feel vastly improved. I don't really have any issues with side flex. There is a little bit on both mouse 1 and mouse 2, but nothing that actually affected me in game when I was tracking. My side clicks feel phenomenal, very crispy. I don't have any issues with pre-travel. As far as post-travel, very, very minor, not even noticeable. I don't have any issues like I did have on the G Pro Superlight. If you guys watch the review, the clicks feel very crispy on mouse 4 and mouse 5. Mouse 1 and mouse 2 feel absolutely phenomenal, and the scroll wheel is a little silent, but very tactile as far as the mouse 3 is concerned. The side clicks on the right side are just as good as on the left side. Quality control feels good. The mouse feels very sturdy. My left click and right click do have very, very minor post-travel, like my Razer Death Adder V2 Pro. Nothing that I noticed in game while tracking or holding down on mouse 1 or mouse 2 with any amount of force. The side flex on mouse 1 and mouse 2 really weren't an issue unless I applied a lot of force. And the clicks, again, feel so much improved over the first batch of Razer Viper Ultimates. Here's a look at the rounded PTFE mouse gates that come stock on the mouse. I think that they are extremely good. They feel just as good as aftermarket third-party skates. I am going to upgrade my skates to TigerArc V2 Pros, but that's just personal preference. The skates out of the box are phenomenal and offer a fantastic glide. As you guys know, Synapse 3 is required to rebind the side clicks on the right side of the mouse, which I unfortunately had to do because I do find myself accidentally depressing them while playing games. It's extremely easy to disable those, and as soon as you disable those, you can close Synapse, you can save your profile, and if you want to, you can exit out of Synapse, or you can go to Add or Remove Programs and delete the program. My hands are on the larger size, and I do find myself fingertipping this mouse. If you have larger hands, I do think that claw grips would work phenomenally for this mouse. Right now, the ranked split in Apex did reset, but I do want to go ahead and show you guys some gameplay that I captured using this mouse over the last few days. After about 5 days of use, using the mouse for several hours a day, this is a look at the PTFE skates. Overall, they seem to be holding up well, just like any other third-party PTFE skates. Overall, my time with the Razer Viper Ultimate Quartz has been an enjoyable experience and vastly improved over my time with the original Razer Viper Ultimate. I don't see any quality control issues with this mouse at all, other than the gray rubber side grips that do seem to have some discoloration over time. And if that's an issue, you can go ahead and get a black copy, but try to get a copy with the newly revised switches. I don't have any issues with these switches anymore. They don't feel muddy. They feel rather crisp and certainly comparable to any other wireless mouse on the market. I do find that this mouse is fabulous for Valorant and other first-person shooters such as Apex, of course. I think that it's versatile in the sense that it's good for tracking, it's good for flicking, and it's something that's just enjoyable to use. Whether you have a small, medium, or large hand, depending on your grip, this mouse can certainly work for you and feels absolutely fantastic. The length of the mouse is about 127 millimeters, and the width at the flare is about 57.6. The flare in the middle of the mouse really gives some extra comfort for the resting of your thumb, and I think gives some extra grip, whether your grip style is fingertip or claw or palm. My main choice right now for a wireless mouse is still the Razer Death Adder V2 Pro, and that's just because that larger and ergonomic shape is what I'm used to in playing professional Counter-Strike back in 1.6 with the IntelliMouse 3.0. It's what works for me and what feels good for me. But certainly I would compare the Razer Viper Ultimate to the glorious Model O Wireless. The Vaxi, as far as its length, is somewhat similar and is my main wired mouse. But certainly if you're looking at the Razer Viper Ultimate, the thing most comparable is the Model O Wireless. I think that the Razer Viper Ultimate is sturdier than the Model O Wireless and built better than the Model O Wireless. My copy already has a squeaky right click, and that is with barely any use on my Model O Wireless, which is unfortunate. I think that the weight distribution is better on the Razer Viper Ultimate, and personally for me, since I have the larger Death Adder V2 Pro that I mainly use, if I wanted to swap to another mouse, I prefer swapping to the Viper Ultimate to have a smaller mouse and smaller hand feel and different grip usage with the Razer Viper Ultimate, which is, again, a little bit smaller feeling in the hand, but larger than the Aerox 3, which I certainly do not recommend that you buy, given its liftoff distance and issues with the software. Not a horrible mouse, just not something at $100 that I would recommend over a Model O Wireless or Viper Ultimate at all. The Razer Viper Ultimate is seriously an all-around great mouse. It's going to really appease people with different grip styles, different hand sizes, and I think that Razer is really a company that is listening to community feedback in a time when a lot of companies aren't. They're improving upon the mice that they've already released, and they're constantly coming out with bangers. If you're looking for an all-around great wireless mouse, I highly recommend the Viper Ultimate.